Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to get into a variety of topics, but this first topic, we're going to talk about how driving a Tesla saves you money. We'll talk about it because I know a lot of you out there are probably looking to purchase a Tesla right at the beginning of this, and so you're trying to figure out how can you save money by buying a Tesla. And so we'll talk about some of the things that where you could save a little bit and where some it's going to be a little bit of an increase. So we'll talk about that plus a variety of topics. But before we do that, let's roll that intro really quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, deal hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description, where you can support the channel and get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. And shout out to my latest Patreon member, Manjeet, or Gurjeet. Sorry if I messed it up. Thank you for joining. If you want to check it out, Patreon link down below in the description. So I saw this article. Shout out to Yahoo Finance, or actually shout out to Cynthia from Go Banking Rates. They wrote this article. I drive a Tesla. Here's how it saves me money. Let's go through this and walk us through some of how buying a Tesla, driving a Tesla could save you money in the long run. So the first one is, number one on their list was sticker price. One of the top arguments about buying a Tesla is that you pay premium for gas savings. However, I disagree. A 2023 long range MSRP starts at $37,890. Of course, that's factoring in the $7,500 federal tax credit. Out the door, they paid $45,000. And don't forget, if you use a Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description, you can get an extra 6 months of free supercharging plus 3 months of full self-driving. This is great because that's 6 months you're probably going to need if you have not charged, or if you haven't set up your home charging setup at home. That's going to take some time, especially if you go through the permitting and things like that. And so 6 months of free supercharging will give you that little bit of a bridge before buying a Tesla vehicle, or after buying a Tesla vehicle. And so for this point, Cynthia has is that models along that price point include a Subaru Outback Limited, an Audi A3, and other vehicles as well. So I think what she's trying to say here is that when you buy a Tesla vehicle with that high of a price, there's other vehicles in that same price range, and so it's not really that much more expensive than other vehicles. But the one thing I would counter to this is that yes, Tesla vehicles are great and everything. They kind of are a little bit on the high end in terms of quality, in terms of what the price you pay versus the quality of vehicle you get. But the technology of the vehicle, and when I mean technology, not the autopilot system, I'm saying like the UI, the interior, the screen, and everything that goes with it, the ecosphere is definitely higher than in terms of quality than all the other manufacturers that could be out there. Number two is lower fuel costs. Of course, this is obvious because when you drive an electric vehicle, you're not putting in any fuel at all. But there's places out there that don't really have that much more expensive gas as well. So really, you have to kind of take the math and figure out, if you charge at home, most likely it's going to be cheaper than fueling up at the gas stations. But if you charge at Tesla superchargers, that's where it might be just as expensive as a hybrid vehicle or a gas vehicle. So really, you have to do the math for yourself here and figure out if you're going to be charging, whether it's at home or if you get free charging at work. That's also going to be a fantastic benefit, and then you'll really start to see some of the massive savings from that. The next one is reduce maintenance expenses. I certainly agree with this one. Tesla vehicles don't have oil changes. They don't have brake changes as frequently because the regenerative braking allows you to go really all the way up to 100 miles or 100,000 miles and really don't have to change any brakes. There's people that have gone even further than that and have not changed the brakes on it as long as you inspect it. There's no transmission fluid, service, exhaust systems, transmission, or anything like that. And so there's a lot of savings there, maybe like $500 to $1,000 a year, in which you could save on not driving a gas vehicle and driving an electric vehicle instead. Of course, the things that you do have to change are wiper blade changes. You have to change air cabin filter. That could be 50 to $100 a year, or maybe every other year. But the big thing with electric vehicles, it also depends on how you drive. Electric vehicles have instant torque, which can be very addicting if you are getting used to that instant torque, getting right off the line and going to 0 to 30 or 0 to 60. And so if you're not careful, you can blow through tires a lot quicker with an electric vehicle. And so that's why I do say it could be a little bit of a balance. If you drive carefully and maybe calmly, then you might be able to get as many miles as you would be able to get on a tire. And of course, if you go with a bigger rim, 19-inch, 20-inch, that's also going to affect your tires as well. So yes, it is reduced maintenance costs, but a little bit of a disclaimer there depending on how you drive and if you're getting on the accelerator a bunch everywhere you go. Next one, number 4, is federal and state incentives. This one is a give me, but still there's 40% of Americans out there that still do not know about the electric vehicle $7,500 federal tax credit. And so this one, yes, it must be written down again because there is a big, massive federal tax credit. And on top of that, there's plenty of states. There's like 12 or 13 that also have state incentives as well, which you have to either apply for or jump through some hoops to be able to get you that incentive for buying a Tesla vehicle. But of course, that can be massive. And on top of that, that does change next year. So I know a lot of you could be waiting on the sidelines, trying to see whether you're going to buy a Tesla this year or next year. And the federal tax credit, make sure you watch the videos and get a good understanding about it, because the federal tax credit does change next year and is supposed to be a point of sale discount for Tesla. And so that could be massive because there's plenty of benefits on why a point of sale discount is a lot better than getting the credit for it when you file for your taxes in April or March or whatever the case may be there for that. So definitely be aware of that. Definitely check it out. And the next one is number 5, competitive insurance rates. This one is a little bit tough for me to kind of get on board with because insuring a Tesla is going to be more expensive than whatever car you're driving now. For the most part, I try and tell people it's going to be anywhere from 10 to 30% more a month than what you're currently paying now. We put a poll on the channel and actually we got a bunch of people to actually answer it. And the average Tesla insurance payment is going to be about $150 a month. So this one, however, my monthly premium was $250 a month for that Tesla vehicle. So it could be higher depending on what area you live in, your driving record, and much more. But at the end of the day, all these combined together is most likely going to save you a bunch of money, especially if you're driving a vehicle that's in that same type of price range, like a $40,000 to $50,000, and really not a hybrid or anything like that. But those are the few different ways on how driving and owning a Tesla could save you money. And the big one, the bulk of it, is really going to be those state incentives, both federal and state. So really make sure you understand if your state has any sort of incentives. Make sure you figure out how you're going to be able to get that money, because it could be couples or it could be thousands of dollars that you could get for buying a Tesla. But really interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Thanks for jumping in. We're going to jump into the next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is the Patreon link, which supports the channel and access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla, all better than Tesla financing. And we just found a credit union on this list that has a interest rate of 3.99%, and anybody can qualify to enter and join the credit union. So definitely check out Patreon link down below in the description.